Hey, we're taking a look at the preterite and imperfect in this video because I know it was still a bit sticky for some of you. And I just wanted you to have an extra video that you can work with and maybe use as you work through it. So here's the chart, if this is going to go full screen for me, that I showed you in class. So I'm going to work through some things here and hopefully it will answer your questions if I can get rid of this bar. There we go. So the first thing you're going to do if you're trying to decide between the preterite and the imperfect is look for time markers. And if there is a time marker, you're going to look to see if it's a generalization, which is imperfect, or a specific point, which is a preterite. And by generalization, I mean siempre, de vez en cuando, todos los días, generalmente, anything like that that would indicate it's not a specific point in time. Now, specific point in time would be un día, el año pasado, en 2021, etc. So the first thing you're going to do is look for a time marker. If there's a time marker, if it's a generalization, you're looking at imperfect. If it's a specific point, you're looking at pretérito. However, most sentences don't have time markers, so then we're going to go down this way. This is step two. So this is step one. Step two is over here. We're going to ask ourselves, is this an action or is it a description? If it's an action, and we're going to just ignore this because generally we're not looking at that. If it's an action, it is likely going to be preterite. If it's a description, it's likely going to be imperfect. And imperfect can also include age, weather, physical conditions, emotions, background information, setting the scenes. This is just like descriptions of places in the past, right? Date and time, all in the imperfect. So that's step two. You also have to keep in mind that it might be a special case. So if you have mientras, meaning while, that is indicating things happening at the same time in the past. So keep an eye on that. If you see cuando, this might be indicating an interrupting action. So keep an eye on that. And then we also have verbs that change meanings. And when I say that, if we go back here, we went over these in class, all of these verbs, poder, querer, and saber and conocer. These change meanings depending on whether they're used in the imperfect or the preterite. So to reiterate, first, you're going to look for time marker. The first thing you're going to do, if it has a time marker, go up here, right? If it's a generalization, imperfect. If it's a specific point, preterite. If it does not have a time marker, ask yourself, is it a description or is it an action? Actions are generally imperfect. Actions are generally impreterite. Descriptions are generally imperfect. Also keeping in mind that it could be a special case, cuando, mientras, and those verbs that change meaning. So we're going to go over so you can get a little bit. We're going to go back to this one here. And if my pen would work, I don't think that's going to work. Okay, so we're going to go with this. So we're going to go with this case, these verbs right here, right? This is stuck for some reason. I can't highlight anything. That's fine, whatever. So we have decidió and decidía. So we're going to look at this sentence, and the first thing we're going to ask ourselves, is there a time marker? Yes, el lunes. Is that a point in time or is that a generalization? That's a point in time. So we're going to immediately go with decidió, which is the preterite. Guys, I don't know why this highlighter isn't working, but it's not. So we're going to go to the next sentence. Siempre le gustó o gustaba. Do we have a time marker? Yes, we have siempre. So we know, and that's a generalization, so we know it's going to be the imperfect. Then we'll go down to the next sentence. So what do we have here in this sentence? We have the word mientras, which means things happening at the same time. That indicates to us that this should be imperfect and this should be imperfect as well. Go over to the next one. We have a time marker. Well, we have the 19th of June, but that's not really a time marker in this case. So what are we doing here? We're saying it was June 19th. Oh, that is a description. That is the date. That is automatically imperfect. Over here, salió, salía. Do we have a time marker? Yes, at 10 in the morning. That's a point in the past. Salió, we know that's preterite, right? And we're going here. So Vio veía el reloj. She looked at her watch. Do we have a time marker? Nope. However, it is an action. This is step 2, so we know it's probably vio. Y fueron o eran las 10 en punto. It was 10 o'clock on the dot. We know we're telling time, so that's got to be imperfect. Hizo hacía mucho calor. Here we're telling the weather, so it's got to be hacía mucho calor. Y por eso encendía el aire acondicionado en el coche. She turned on the air conditioning. Do we have a time marker? We do not. So we're going to ask ourselves, is it an action or a description? This is an action. She turned it on. Thus, it is preterite. So she went to the gas station. Time marker? No time marker, but went, is that an action or a description? That's an action. Fue. She filled up her car, entered the store, and bought some cookies. No time markers. So we're going to step 2. Are these actions or description? They're all actions. So they're all preterite rather. And you just keep going like that, right? So remember, step 1, is there a time marker? If there is, generalizations imperfect, specific points in time preterite. If there's no time marker, ask yourself, is it a description? Or is it an action? Descriptions are generally imperfect, actions are generally preterite, and then we have a few special cases with mientras, cuando, and the verbs that change meaning. This will get you about 90% on any preterite imperfect assessment. It's not always going to give you exactly the right answer, but 90% of the time it will. So remember those 3 steps in your head. That's it. Thank you for watching. I really hope this helped.